You thought Morbius sweeped the theaters. Oh, just wait for the Bob's Burgers sweep.
This is what I call a Bob's Burgers sweep. This is what I call a Bob's Burgers sweep. This is what I call a Bob's Burgers sweep.
Bob's Burgers is without a doubt my favorite adult animated show. If you don't know what Bob's Burgers is, stop lying, maybe? To summarize, sad fat burger man is terrorized by his wife and children while he flipped the patty.
Dad, I don't want to stop your flow, but can you pass the peel off?
Oh, God.
That's butter. You know what? Butter's better.
Its humor isn't really for everyone, but I find it a lot funnier than the modern stuff Fox sharts out nowadays. Anyways, they recently had a movie come out that was so poorly advertised, a lot of people were surprised it even existed. And after watching it, I just knew I had to make a video about it. I want to tell everyone that wasn't able to see it, due to reluctance or otherwise, how I felt about the movie. I know the last time I made a video about a movie I was critical, to say the least. But the Bob's Burgers movie ended up being so nice, I watched it twice. One quick general spoiler warning. I'm not going to spoil everything that's going on in the movie, but I will be touching on certain topics that happen in the movie. Alright, now we can hop into it. Now, in terms of how the movie looks and sounds overall, it's very pretty. The only real change to the Bob's Burgers art style is the shading, the dynamic shots, and the smoother animation, which is kind of stock standard for an animated movie. The Bob's Burgers movie kind of sparked that meme about TV show movies just being shaded versions of the cartoons, and it's totally accurate here. Also, it's a musical, I think? They only sing 2 songs in it, so is it like half a musical, or... Regardless, the 2 songs they sing, Sunny Side Up Summer and Lucky Ducks, are really good. The rest of the soundtrack goes hard too. I didn't think I would run out of stuff to say about how the movie looks so fast. I mean, there's not much to say. It looks good, and it sounds good. Like, that's it. Let's talk about the plot now. To summarize the Bob's Burgers movie, there's a hole in the road. They sell, like, I think 3 burgers total. There's a lot of dancing while people are singing for some reason. Oh, it's also a murder mystery with the fish odor family all as potential culprits and a race against time to pay the bank or else the restaurant's equipment will be taken away. The Bob's Burgers movie is absolutely packed with plot, which I think has its pros and cons. On one hand, a lot of people I've spoken to about the movie have agreed that there's just a bit too much going on for the average viewer to keep track of. And I can understand that. With Bob and Linda walking around doing their own thing, and the 3 kids having their own self-contained adventure, on top of each of them having individual goals they go into detail on, let's just say it can get a bit confusing. However, I like the mess. It feels like a whole season of the regular show rolled up into one nicely polished mega episode. And the best part is that it isn't too outlandish for the universe. The Bob's Burgers movie explores new ground, while at the same time not being so extravagant it loses itself, or feels too ridiculous. Like The Simpsons movie. Or whatever the Family Guy movie ends up doing, if that ever happens. Bob's Burgers is definitely a show more grounded in reality, and the movie is a good example of that. The only time something fantastical or otherworldly happens is in a fantasy sequence, usually from one of the kids. And I think that's an excellent way of including wacky, unusual stuff in the movie while keeping it faithful to the show, because the kids have some crazy fantasy sequences in that too. The whole movie revolves around Bob and Louise, which is deserved. They're the 2 most interesting people in the Belcher family, and I'd argue the main characters of Bob's Burgers. We get some info about where Louise gets her ears from, as well as some stuff about Bob's mom, which is cool. The banter between all the main characters is as humorous as ever, but I've heard from some people that it doesn't give the viewer any time to breathe. I disagree with that notion. The show has always been like that. The show has always been kind of run-on-y and improvisational, where people will just say whatever, like I'm doing right now, without much thought, and it doesn't really go anywhere. Oops. The movie also solidifies something I think sets apart Bob's Burgers from other adult animated families, which is how real the family feels. There's a scene where Louise overhears Bob and Linda talking about how grim their financial situation is, and it ends up spurring her into action for the rest of the movie.
It's just our landlord's gonna go to prison, the bank's gonna call in our loan, and then they'll take our restaurant stuff, and we will live in a box on the street. This is what's gonna happen.
It's a small moment, but it makes it feel much more real, as I'm sure a lot of people have overheard grim adult talk through a door as a kid. I don't know what else to say other than it's good, it's funny, it's Bob's Burgers. I enjoyed it both times I saw it in theaters.
But that doesn't mean it doesn't have problems.
Despite the plot being spread out across a lot, I do think a few threads don't really go anywhere, to be honest. And by a few threads, I mean one thread. I'm talking about Gene's threads. And I'm not talking about his pants either. Every member of the Belcher family has some sort of arc throughout the movie. Bob is extra cynical in this movie, which is reminiscent of his character in the earlier seasons. But he gains a sudden change of heart and a spark of positivity, learning to not be so negative all the time. Linda is a beacon of hope for Bob throughout the entire movie, like she's always been. But she has a moment where she kind of just gives up towards the end of the movie, and that's sort of what spurs Bob's positivity into motion. She doesn't really have her own direct arc, but she supports Bob's storyline heavily. Tina has a whole arc regarding her fear of the real Jimmy Jr. not matching up to her fantasies, and realizing her love for Jimmy Jr. might not stay if things get real. Louise goes through a whole arc of proving her courage, as well as the backstory of her ears. And Gene, wants to play music, and then at the end of the movie he plays music. I was originally going to be all like, okay, in all seriousness, Gene's plotline is deeper than that. But no, that's it. Gene just stays static the whole film, and I'm not sure what else they could have done with a character like him that doesn't really change, but I just wish there was more involving his character. Still fun to watch, just a little unfortunate that he was left by the wayside. Now that the main gripe is out of the way, here's a few little things that bothered me during my watch through. Just want to be a little bit nitpicky with this thing I like. First things first, a severe lack of Jimmy Pesto. He has like one background gag at the start, smiles when the road outside Bob's restaurant gets wrecked, and like that's it. He's always been like Bob's biggest rival. You think he'd have a bigger role in the movie, especially because Jimmy Jr. also has a role, and it's even more than what his dad had. Hell, Hugo the health inspector had a bigger role in the film, and he had like 2 or 3 lines total. Just seems weird. Speaking of missing people, there's a strange lack of Bill Hader, who plays Mickey. I mean, the guy they got did a pretty good imitation of Bill Hader, but it was noticeably different to me. I don't know why they couldn't get him when they could get, like, Paul Rudd for Tina's Horse, who had, like, 2 lines, but not Bill Hader. Also, here's, like, the main spoiler part. There's a song in the middle of the movie about, like, the killer's motives and him just talking all about why he did it and, like, his whole plan. And I swear to God, it just feels like 10 minutes straight of singing and exposition. It's so exhausting. But, like, that's the only part of the movie I really think I disliked. It's just that one, like, 10-minute grating segment, and then that's it. It's like one super thin slice of mediocre between 2 giant loaves of really good. It's like a mid-sandwich. And at the very end, once the killer is found, Mr. Fischoeder is proved innocent, and, well, everything gets resolved, the Belchers are rewarded with the grand prize of a month's rent? I actually don't remember what it was exactly. I just remember it being so underwhelming. They got like so little for all the stuff they did in the movie. Bob deserved way more of a reward, but to be fair, they did mention that in the actual story, so does that make it good? I don't think so. The movie ends with a reopening. One more than the pilot's original reopening. And I hope this new opening is reflected in the next season's intro, although I don't know how they're gonna fit it in with the music. They'll figure it out, they're smart people. And then the credits have a ton of secondary characters dancing their pants off, even characters that weren't even in the movie at all. Or at least I didn't see them. I wasn't paying much attention to the backgrounds. So to summarize, the Bob's Burgers movie is a good watch for anyone who even remotely likes the show. I tried to stay away from just talking about every little thing because I want you guys to go and watch it if you can. You know, wherever it goes once it's out of theaters. And if you won't watch it for me, watch it for Teddy, please. He's the best. Anyways, I don't have much else to say about the movie. I'm recording this after work. I'm pretty tired. My name is Goose. I thank you very much for watching. And, Bob's Burgers sweep. Now go away.
Hey guys, it's Teddy from Bob's Burgers, and also Overwatch. Listen, it's 4 in the morning right now. I just wanted you to know that you should subscribe to Amigos. I mean, you're already on the video, and you've gotten this far into the video already. So I'm gonna assume you're already subscribed. And in that case, thank you very much. I love you. Okay, this is the end of the video now. Bye bye.